Oh god, I haven't laughed this much in quite a while. 21 Jump Street now joins the ranks of old 80s shows being revitalised for the new 20th century. And this one, I actually say, is really good in how they've actually portrayed everything about it. And now, what do I think? Let's see. The story of this film is very quite simple. These two guys have just been recruited as cops, and they realise that the life isn't really as what they expect it to be. They get drafted into the 21st Street Jump Street division, where they infiltrate a high school pretending to be teenagers when clearly they're not, to find the source of this new drug that is causing young teenagers to die in hilarious ways. Now, what's good about the film? Actually, the relationship between Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. These two are diabolical together. I mean, Channing Tatum isn't really like a funny guy, but in this film you actually think he was a funny guy. He is hilarious in this film, and he's getting really better at acting. Jonah Hill, this is like the first film that I've seen, or I think the first one entirely, where he is the new like skinny Jonah Hill. Not really skinny, but just like not fat Jonah Hill, sadly. But even still, like it feels right, because if they portrayed Jonah Hill the way that he was like in, say, like Superbad or something, I think they would have called you look really old for your age. But this, it just flew off really well. Another sort of guy that sort of appeared in is Ice Cube. Great to see this guy back in, and he plays the typical, you know, like the angry black guy. But to be honest, I'm not wrong saying it, because he even said it himself in the film, but they actually say a lot of things that are so cliche about, you know, cop films or action films of today, and even like the stuff that happened like in the 80s. And I to feel that's really genius in how they do that, because they're taking the mickey of everything that, you know, is a deity to these action cop shows. And by God, some of the humour in this film is hilarious. I mean, I couldn't stop myself laughing at some scene. It was like, oh, this is a bit too much for me. Now, what's kind of bad about the film? To be honest, the bad thing is actually what I find is the most ugly thing about the film. See, the way I see it, the level of the comedy, right, it goes up and up and up. But the problem is that these films tend to have a point where they start going really serious, and when it starts going serious, it stops being funny. I was sitting there like, after bursting myself out laughing with all these jokes or innuendos, when it started to get serious, it was just like, this isn't funny anymore. It's like, where is that funniness that I was seeing in the first half of the film? Where is it? But don't worry, it picks up straight about near about the last like 20 or 30 minutes. Now time for the score. I'm actually going to give this film a great score. This film is really funny. It's probably one of the best kind of comedy films I've seen in quite a while. And also, if you like maybe numbers, I'm actually going to give this an 8 out of 10. Because it's great for comedy. If this wasn't really meant to be comedy, I would notch it down to about a 7.5. But this is great for comedy, so it gets a solid 8. Also, before I ticked off, if you watch closely, there's a little cameo in this film later in the film. I'm not going to give any spoilers to who it is, but you'll be really surprised when you see it, as to I when I saw it. Now, until then, I will see you guys next time.